Something like...
I'd call him the Hello Pipsqueaks, because you're like...
Hello, Pipsqueaks. Like, say Pip with an emphasis. Pipsqueaks. Hello, Pipsqueaks. Welcome to Chippy Brigade. Or we are the Chippy Brigade. Maybe I should say something like that.
Yeah,
the intro is WIP right now. It is WIP. Anyway, welcome to Doki Doki Literature Club. I've been wanting to play this game for quite a long time, and I just now finally decided to get around to it. And
didn't want to do it alone.
The other person here, the friend of mine that I have with me here is they've already played through. You played it through and beat this entire game.
Yeah, I did on stream.
And even watched.
People were egging me on about the whole thing too, and I'm like, I don't know how to do it.
And people were.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and he's also watched other people play it before too. So, he. As it stands right now, I will be reading the main character as well as the two short hair girls, and he will be reading the two long hair girls. Their names are not known to us yet. We haven't started playing yet.
I know one of them. I know technically three of them, but I don't want to say the wrong one for the wrong person. So
yeah. Also, one thing I want to point out is that their skirts look like they're razor sharp.
Right.
Especially hers. It's just like. The way they always swish into hers is like the straightest, but it still kind of.
What's funny is that nobody knows what you're referring to, like who you're referring to, because you can't see the mouse.
What?
Or at least I can't see the mouse.
Oh, you may not see the mouse, but the game?
Yeah, it might.
It might. Hold on.
Like, see if you can see it on your OBS.
It cannot see the mouse. Hold on. There is no function to capture mice. Unless I do window capture, but with game capture, it's not gonna. Okay, so I guess no one's gonna be able to see the mouse. Whatever.
Who are you referring to?
I'm referring to the one on the left, the one with the bow, the red bow in her hair.
Oh yeah, okay. It does look like a razor blade, like a big buzzsaw thing.
Her hair color too looks like the mix of the pink hair and the. Actually, it just looks like a lighter shade of the girl on the right. It literally is. It looks like it could be the same character, but with different eyes and shorter hair.
Right.
And the
I know for a fact it's going to take a while to get into the whole meat and potatoes of the story, so let's get started.
Alright, please enter my name.
What is your name?
My name is Chippy. I'm Chippy. I'm Chippy and he's Brigade.
I'm Chippy and I'm like Brigade.
Brigade. I don't know who this is.
Hey! Oh wait, that'd be yours.
Hey! Hey! I don't know. I see an annoying girl running toward me from the distance, waving her arms in the air like she just doesn't care. Like she's totally oblivious to any attention she might draw to herself. That girl is Sayori, my neighbor, and good friends since we were children. Sorry, I guess I should say Sayori, but I'm gonna be a complete bastard and mispronounce all of these names on purpose. So her name is Sayori. Sayori. Yes. You know.
You forget that you pronounced it that way.
Yeah, Sayori. You know, the kind of friend that you've never seen Sorry. Let me try this sentence again. You know, the kind of friend you'd never see yourself making today. But it just kind of works out because you've known each other for so long. Yeah, that kind of person. We used to walk to school together on days like this, but starting around high school, she would oversleep more and more frequently, and I would get tired of waking up. Sorry, I almost said waking up to her instead of waiting up.
She just fell asleep on the ground right next to your bed. She's like, I was like, I just keep waking up to the snoring.
Right. But if she's going to chase after me like this, I almost feel better off running away. You, sir, are a complete idiot. To my knowledge, it's one of these four girls, and she is absolutely adorable. Why on earth would you not want something like that in your life? There's something wrong with you. What is up with Japanese culture? They paint these guys like this, like they just don't care.
Yeah,
they're like,
it's the fantasy of the viewer, so they'd be like, I'd take her instead.
Yeah. However, I just sigh and idle in front of the crosswalk and let Sayori catch up to me. See, just look at it. She's precious. But she also looks like she's probably, like, 3 years younger than him. I don't even know what he looks like. Does anybody know what the main character looks like?
You never know.
Oh. I mean, for all we know, this character could be a fat, homogenous blob, for all we know. I overslept again! Sorry, I didn't...
That's an understatement.
I didn't want to do that. I wasn't trying to go for that type of voice. But I caught you this time! Just do something really annoying like that, but I don't want to do that voice again.
Not to mention because people copy you to make you do it again.
Yeah. I caught you this time. I can't do a girl voice, you know? Maybe, but only because I decided to stop and wait for you. Did I choose this game?
Yes, you did.
Oh. Anyway, I decided to stop and wait for you. You say that like you were thinking about ignoring me. That's mean, Chippy. Well, if people stare at you for acting weird, then I don't want them to think we're a couple or something. Fine. I mean, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe I specifically would like that. But you did wait for me after all. I guess so. I guess you don't have to. So, what is wrong with me trying to read these? I guess you don't have it in you to be mean, even if you wanted to. Whatever you say, Sayorai. That was terrible.
She's like, hee.
We cross the street together and make our way to school. As we draw near, the streets become increasingly speckled with other students, making your daily commute. By the way, Chippy, have you decided on a club to join yet? A club? I told you already, I'm not really interested in joining any clubs. I haven't even been looking either. Oh, sorry. Let me go
That's
back
not
to
true. You.
Eh? That's not true? That's not true. Whoops.
That's not true.
You told me you would join a club this year. Did I? I'm sure it's possible that I did in one of our many conversations where I dismissively go along with whatever she's going on about. You know, like every guy when it comes to girls, they just like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No. Sarai likes to worry, not wants to worry. What is wrong with me today? Sarai likes to worry a little too much about me, when I'm perfectly content just getting by on the average, while spending my free time on games and anime. I am struggling so hard right now.
You're like, it's because it's by myself. I need someone else to talk to for a little bit.
Uh-huh. I was talking about how I'm worried that you won't... Oh my god, I was about to read Learn as Leave. That you won't leave. What the fuck? Ugh. I was talking about how I'm worried that you won't learn how to socialize or have any skills before college. Your happiness is really important to me, you know? Maybe we should just get married, like, right now. Because I want you to be happy. And I will do anything to make that happen. And I know you're happy now, but I die at the thought of you becoming a NEET in a few years because you're not used to the real world. What in the hell is a NEET?
NEET is... Hold on, let me look real quick.
I'm just looking at it, it's just backwards of a teen. It's like, aren't we already teens?
Not in education, employment, or training.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess it would be faster to say. Maybe it should be becoming a NEET. Excuse me. You trust me, right? Don't make me keep worrying about you. Alright, alright. I'll look at a... Yeah. I'll look at a few clubs if it makes you happy. No promises, though. Will you at least promise me you'll try a little? Yeah, I guess I'll promise you that. Just a little bit. I will not exert myself more than just a little. Meaning, like, I will try for 5 minutes. Yay! She's happy that I'll try for 5 minutes. Why do I let myself get lectured by such a carefree girl? More than that, I'm surprised I even let myself relent to her. I guess seeing her worry so much about me makes me want to ease her mind at least a little bit, even if she does exaggerate everything inside of her head. That's just how it goes. The school day is as ordinary as ever, and it's over before I know it. After I pack up my things, I stare blankly at the wall, looking for an ounce of motivation. Clubs. Damn, I was really hoping the suit would be Spades. He's just over there in the corner playing, like, some cards or something.
Yeah.
He was hoping for Spades or Diamonds, but not clubs. He only has one club in his entire hand. Sorry, I'm thinking of a game called Back Alley, and nobody's ever heard of it. It's like Spades, but to the extreme, I guess. Spades is where the trump suit is always Spades, but Back Alley, it's a different suit every time. Anyway, I digress. Sayori wants me to check out on some clubs. I guess I have no choice but to start with the anime club. Hello? Oh, sorry, that was her. I guess that kind of fit for her. It's not an energetic I get. Sayori? Sayori must have come into the classroom while I was spacing out. I looked around and realized that I'm the only one left in the classroom. I thought I'd catch you coming out of the classroom, but I saw you just sitting here and spacing out, so I came in. Honestly,
Besides, I know that one time you actually ended up staying here the entire afternoon, and it was like it was nighttime, and they had locked the doors and everything, so we were just kind of stuck here.
that's what turned into, that one game. Oh, what was that game? The game where, the girl is, like, hunting you and calling you senpai?
I don't remember that one.
Oh, it's, I think the full version of it came out earlier this year. And she's, like, really creepy, and there's forms of her that's demonic and stuff. It's a horror game, but, I was like, maybe that's how that game came to be. A guy just accidentally fell asleep in classroom, and she stayed there to look after him.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was called, but oh well. Honestly, you're even worse than me sometimes. I'm impressed. You don't need to wait up for me if it's going to make you late to your own club. Well, I thought you might need some encouragement, so I, Know what? Well, that you could come to my club. Say, alright. Yeah? There is no way I'm going to your club. Mimi! Sayori is the vice president of the literature club. Roll credits! Not that I was ever aware that she had any interest in literature. In fact, I'm 99% sure she only did it because she thought it would be fun to help start a new club. And of all things, she picks literature. That sounds like such a boring club. But I'm not a person who enjoys reading, so of course to me that would be a boring club. Now, my type of club would be more like a gamer club, or a gamer club, or a gamer club. You get the point? I would say anime club, but I don't watch too much anime these days.
Yeah.
Since she was the first one to show interest after the one who proposed the club, she inherited the title vice president. That said, my interest in literature is guaranteed to be even less. Yeah, I'm going to the anime club. Come on, please! Why do you care so much anyway? Well, I kinda told the club yesterday I would bring a new member. And Natsuki made cupcakes and everything. Don't make promises you can't keep. I am not going to be slave to your will just because of your error.
And cupcakes.
And cupcakes. Though I am tempted because of the cupcakes. Give me a cupcake now and I will consider it as I walk home. I can't tell if Saori is really that much of an airhead, or if she's so cunning as to have planned all of this out. I let out a long sigh. Fine. I'll stop by for a cupcake, okay? Maybe 2, maybe 3. Or maybe I'll just eat all of the cupcakes just to teach you a lesson. Become a fatty right before your very eyes. Yes, let's go!
It's like, so you want to join the club? It's like, you just kind of like look at you and you're kind of like, blank, like, you just have like a blank look on your face with all these like crumbs coming out of your mouth from the cupcakes.
And icing's on, like, smeared on your face.
Yep.
Some of it got in your hair, too.
Yep.
And the sprinkles.
And us.
Yep. And thus, today marks the day I sold my soul for a cupcake. That's probably the funniest thing so far, is my incoherence of reading.
Right.
I dejectedly follow Saori across the school and upstairs, a section of the school I rarely visit, but generally use for a third-year class and activity. I am not reading this in the best tone. Saori, full of energy, swings open the classroom door. Actually, that's not really his thoughts, is it? He's not like, is he really thinking? He's just watching her, he's like, she swings open the door and bursts into the room. Who thinks like that? Everyone, the new member is here. I told you, don't call me a new member. Oh, sorry. I told you, don't call me a new member. Sorry. I'm like getting my characters mixed up. I glance around the room.
Welcome to the Literature Club. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you, girl one.
Sayori always says nice things about you.
Seriously? You brought a boy? Way to kill the atmosphere.
Ah, Chippy, what a nice surprise. Welcome to the club. ... Gosh, not this again.
All words escape me in this situation. They're all just so stunningly beautiful. Especially the two on the ends. This club is full of incredibly cute girls. Oh my god! What are you looking at? If you want to say something, say it. Sorry.
Natsuki.
Humpha. The girl with the sour attitude, whose name is apparently Natsuki, is one I don't recognize. Who the hell is this person? I recognize the girl with the blue, and I definitely recognize the one who recognized me. Her small figure makes me think she's probably a first year. She's also the one who made cupcakes, according to Saori. Sorry, like I said, I should be mispronouncing these names.
Oh well. You just mispronounced the best friend for now.
Yeah. You can just ignore her when she gets moody. Saori.
But the more she starts to, the more your character starts to know these other people, the more he mispronounces them.
There you go. Saori says that quietly in my ear, then turns back toward the other girls. I don't know why I said that like I was trying to read with her voice. She's reading my thoughts! Get her out of my head! Anyway, that is Natsuki, always full of energy. And this is Yuri, the smartest in the club.
Don't say things like that.
Yuri, who appears comparably more mature and timid, seems to have a hard time keeping up with the people like Saori and Natsuki. Ah, well, it's nice to meet both of you. And it sounds like you already know Monica, is that right?
That's right. It's great to see you again, Chippy.
Monica smiles sweetly. And sweetly she smiles. We do know each other. Well, rarely talked, but we were in the same class last year. Monica was probably the most popular girl in class. Smart, beautiful, athletic, very nicely endowed. Anything else I could say about her? Basically completely out of my league. So, having her smile at me so genuinely feels a little awkward. I just kind of fill it in. You too, Monica. Come, sit down, Chippy. We made room for you at the table so you can sit next to me or Monica. Can't you both sit on my sides? That'd be nice. I'll get the cupcakes. Hey, I made them. I'll get them. Ugh. Sorry, I got a little too excited.
And how about I make some tea as well?
Tea and crumpets, except for it's tea and cupcakes. The girls have a few desks arranged to form a table. As Sayori mentioned, Sayorai, excuse me. It's been widened so that here there is one space next to Monica and one space to Sayorai. Natsuki and Yuri walk over to the corner of the room where Natsuki grabs a wrapped tray and Yuri opens the closet. Still feeling awkward, I take a seat next to Sayorai. Natsuki proudly marches back to the table, tray in hand. Okay, are you ready? Ta-da! I don't know why I'm giving her that voice. Whoa! Natsuki lifts the foil of the tray to reveal a dozen white, fluffy cupcakes decorated to look like little cats. The whiskers are drawn with icing, and little pieces of chocolate were used to make ears. I'm guessing those little pieces of chocolate are actually just mouse turds.
Why would you say something like that?
I don't know. I think I'm trying too hard to be funny.
Yeah.
Okay. So cute!
I had no idea you were so good at baking, Natsuki.
Well, you know. Just hurry and take one. Sayori grabs the first one, then Monica. I follow. It's delicious! Sayori talks with her mouth full. Sorry. It's delicious! That was terrible. Sayori talks with her mouth full and has already managed to get icing on her face. I turn the cupcake around in my fingers, looking for the best angle to take a bite. Natsuki is quiet. Too quiet. I can't help but notice her sneaking glances in my direction. Is she waiting for me to take a bite? I finally bite down. The icing is sweet and full of flavor. I wonder if she made it herself. This is really good. Thank you, Natsuki. Why are you thanking me? It's not like I heard this somewhere before. Made them for you or anything. Eh? I thought you technically did. Sayorai said. Well, maybe. But not for, you, dummy. Alright. I give up on Natsuki's weird logic and dismiss the conversation. Yuri turns to the table carrying a tea set. She carefully places a teacup in front of each of us before setting down the teapot next to the cupcake tray. You keep a whole tea set in the classroom?
Don't worry, the teachers gave us permission. After all, doesn't a hot cup of tea help you enjoy a good book?
I guess.
Don't let yourself get intimidated. Yuri's just trying to impress you. That's not...
Insulted, Yuri looks away.
I meant that,
I believe you. Well, tea and reading might not be a pastime for me, but I at least enjoy tea.
I'm glad.
Yuri faintly smiles to herself in relief. Monica raises an eyebrow, then smiles at me.
So, what made you consider the literature club?
Technically, my arm was twisted into it, and I was, bewitched with cupcakes. I was afraid of this question. Something tells me I shouldn't tell Monica that I was practically dragged here by Sayorai. Well, I haven't joined any clubs yet, and Sayorai seemed really happy here, so...
It's okay, don't be embarrassed. Make sure you feel right at home, okay? As president of the literature club, it's my duty to make the club fun and exciting for everyone.
Monica, I'm surprised. How come you decided to start your own club? You could probably be a board member for any of the major clubs. Weren't you a leader for the debate club last year?
Well, To be honest, I can't stand all the politics around the major clubs. Feels like nothing but arguing about the budget and the publicity and how to prepare for events.
Trust me, I can understand that. I would not want to be in a politics-based club either.
Well, there's all the leadership responsibilities you have to do, is what it means, not politics.
Yeah, okay. But still, anything about politics would be too much of a headache.
Yep. I'd much rather take something I personally enjoy and make something special out of it. And if it encourages others to get into literature, then I'm fulfilling that dream.
Monica really is a great leader. Yuri also nods in agreement. Then I'm surprised there aren't more people in the club yet. It must be hard to start a new club.
You could put it that way. Not many people are very interested in putting out all the effort to start something brand new. Especially when it's something that doesn't grab your attention, like literature. You have to work hard to convince people that you're both fun and worthwhile. But it makes school events like the festival that much more important. I'm confident that we can all really grow this club before we graduate. Right, everyone?
Yeah!
We'll do our best.
You know it. Everyone enthusiastically agrees. Such different girls, all interested in the same goal. Monica must have really worked hard just to find these three. Maybe that's why they were also delighted at the idea of a new member joining. Excuse me. Or specifically, a boy. Though I still don't really know if I can keep up with their level of enthusiasm about literature.
So, Chippy, what kind of things do you like to read?
In all honesty, comics. That's me. Well, considering how little I've read the past few years, I don't really have a good way of answering that. Manga.
Basically comics, kind of.
Yeah, I muttered quietly after. I predicted it!
Yeah.
Except it was more Japanese comics rather than,
Yeah.
It's getting warm in here. Natsuki's head suddenly perks up. It looks like she wants to say something but keeps quiet. I got something stuck
I'm
in my
not much of a
throat.
reader, I guess.
Excuse me. Well, that can change. What am I saying? I spoke without thinking after seeing Yuri's sad smile. Anyway, what about you, Yuri? What do you like to read?
Well, let's see.
Yuri traces the rim of her teacup with her finger.
My favorites are usually novels that build a deep and complex fantasy worlds.
That's basically what manga does. Except there's nice pictures to go with them.
The level of creativity and craftsmanship behind them is amazing to me. And telling a good story in such a foreign world is equally impressive.
Yuri goes on, clearly passionate about her reading. She seems so reserved and timid since the moment I walked in, but it's obvious by the way her eyes light up that she finds her comfort in the world of books, not people.
But you know, I like a lot of things. Stories with deep psychological elements usually immerse me as well.
Kinda like this game. From what I've heard.
Isn't it amazing how a writer can so deliberately take advantage of your own lack of imagination to completely throw you for a loop?
Kind of like this game. Or so I've heard.
Anyway, I've been reading a lot of horror lately.
Kind of like this game, or so I've heard. I read a horror book once. I desperately grasped something I can relate to at a minimum. I desperately grasp something I can relate to at the minimal level. At this rate, Yuri might as well be having a conversation with a rock. A
That
very
could go both ways.
intellectual rock.
Really? I wouldn't have expected that, Yuri. Someone as gentle as you. I guess you could say that. And if a story makes me think, or takes me to another world, then I really can't put it down. Surreal horror is often very successful at changing the way you look at the world, if only for a brief moment.
I hate horror.
Oh, why's that?
Well, Natsuki's eyes dart over to me for a split second. Never mind.
That's right, you usually like to write about cute things, don't you, Natsuki?
What? What gives you that idea?
You left a piece of scrap paper behind last club meeting. It looked like you were working on a poem called...
Don't say it out loud! And give that back!
Fine.
Your cupcakes, your poems, everything you do is just as cute as you are. Sayori sidles up behind Natsuki and puts her hands on her shoulders. I'm not cute! Natsuki, you write your own poems? Well, I guess sometimes. Why do you care? I think that's impressive. Why don't you share them sometime? No! Natsuki averts her eyes. You wouldn't like them. Not a very confident writer yet?
I understand how Natsuki feels. Sharing that level of writing takes more than just confidence. The true form of writing is writing to oneself. You must be willing to open up to your readers, exposing your vulnerabilities and showing even the deepest reaches of your heart. Do you have writing experience too, Yuri? Maybe if you share some of your work, you can set an example and help Natsuki feel comfortable enough to share hers.
I guess it's the same for Yuri. Aw, I wanted to read everyone's poems. We all sit in silence for 5 hours. That's how long a moment
It's
is.
dark out.
It's dark out. I guess we're spending the night in the school again. Hope that thing in that one horror game doesn't happen, where somebody starts calling me senpai and chases me around the entire building with a knife. And I'm
You're
trying to look for
referring to,
diary pages. Or whatever they were, like, I don't know what they are. What?
You're referring to Corpse Party?
No. I don't remember what the name of the game was. I think the name of the game was the girl's name that calls you senpai and chases you around the school. I've seen Markiplier play it. Because he played an older version one, I think, a couple years ago. And it was the demo then, and now it was the current one. I don't know why I'm promoting Markiplier right now. He doesn't need any promotion. Everybody has probably seen it already.
Okay. Sorry, I was looking at something.
I'm just like imagining her just sitting there, staring at everybody, and everyone's just waiting for her to speak. And then all of a okay.
I have an idea, everyone.
Natsuki and Yuri look quizzically at Monica.
Let's all go home and write a poem of our own. And next time we meet, we'll all share them with each other. That way, everyone is even.
Yeah, let's do it!
Plus, now that we have a new member, I think it will help us all get a little more comfortable with each other and strengthen the bond of the club. Isn't that right, Chippy?
Monica smiles warmly at me once again. My heart! It won't stop beating rapidly! What is this new feeling I feel?
Compared
Anyway.
to the one that I have with Sayori.
Yeah, I mean, it beats then, too, but, in a
Sounds like stupid.
it beats to a different beat. Apparently. Hold on,
Right.
there's still one problem.
Eh, what's that?
Now that we're back to the original topic of me joining at the club, I bluntly come forward with what's been on my mind the entire time. What are your breast size? No, I'm just kidding. I never said I would join this club. Sayori may have convinced me to stop by, but I never made any decision. I still have other clubs to look at, and, I lose my train of thought. You know, one looks pissed at me, one just kinda, two of them look sad, and Yuri's just, huh? She kinda looks like she's almost spaced out a little bit.
Yeah.
All for girls. I channeled my inner Groots right there. Or Groove.
Or Goofy.
Yeah, girls. Gorsh. All for girls. Store. Anyway, all for girls. Stare back at me with dejected eyes.
But
we made you those cupcakes.
I'm sorry, I thought.
That'd be fun. Chippy. You all. I'm defenseless against these girls. How am I supposed to make a clear-headed decision when it's like this? How am I supposed to make a decision when I've got 3 sets of sad eyes looking at me and one of them, I don't even know what she's looking at. That is, if writing poems is the price I need to pay in order to spend every day with these beautiful girls... Right. Okay, I've decided then. I'll join the literature club. And they all perk up. Even
taller.
Yeah, they grew. I did notice that they were all just kind of like shrunk, and then they grew back to their normal size. Even the one who's like,
yeah.
Yes, I'm so happy. Sayori wraps her arms around me, jumping up and down.
You're like, ow, 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 ow. You sure did.
I was just imagining her doing that, and she's just bouncing up and down, but me myself am not budging. She's just bouncing up and down while she's holding me.
No.
Because you know, they're probably all like 5'4", or no, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe Natsuki's shorter than that, but I could see the other two being 5'4", and Yuri maybe like 5'6" or something, because she does seem like she's the taller one. Because that's typical Japanese height that I can think of. Maybe even shorter than that. And the guys, they're not much taller. In fact, I think they could be like maybe 5'8" or something. That actually is the national average for men, to be 5'8", and women are 5'4". But I just think it's because we have such a mix of cultures and other races in this country. Like, because when it comes to Hispanics, they tend to be on the shorter side. Asians tend to be on the shorter side. But
is it called White Day?
Huh?
Was that game that you were talking about called White Day?
No.
Okay.
Have you been trying to look it up this whole time?
Yeah, a little bit.
Just look up girl tries to kill senpai. Maybe that might help.
Psycho no Sutoka?
That! Yes, it's that game. That's what, it's like, I knew the game had a Japanese name to it. But it is that.
Psycho Stalker.
Yeah.
Translated from Japanese.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the game that I was talking about. Anyway, back to the game. Hey!
Okay. You really did scare me for a moment.
If you really just came for the cupcakes, I would be super pissed. I mean, who wouldn't be?
And that makes it official. Welcome to the Literature Club.
Ah, thanks,
I
I guess. Welcome to the Literature Club. Sorry, I was still eating a cupcake.
Already said it.
Oh, okay.
I think with that, we can officially end today's meeting on a good note.
Yes, the note of
remember
C.
tonight's assignment. Ding.
Yeah.
Write home to bring to the next meeting so we can all share.
Monica looks over at me once more and gives me a flirtatious wink. No, I'm just kidding.
Chippy, I look forward to seeing how you express yourself. Wink.
Yeah. Woo. Can I really impress
I
the
think it'd be
class?
funny if he was like, instead of yeah, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, about that. The only thing I can express never leaves my bedroom. Can I really impress the class star Monica with my mediocre writing skills? I already feel the anxiety welling up inside me. Meanwhile, the girls continue to chit-chat as Yuri and Natsuki clean up their food. Hey, Chippy, since we're already here, do you want to walk home together? That's right, Sayori. I'm just adding extra syllables to her name now. That's right, Sayori. Sayori. And I never walk home together anymore because she always stayed after school for clubs. Sure, might as well. Yay! And all the other girls are jealous because she walked home with me. With that, the two of us depart the club room and make our way home, hand in hand. The whole way, my mind wanders back and forth between the 4 girls and the one whose hand I'm holding, which is one of the 4 girls. Sayori, Natsuki, Yuri, and of course, Monica. Sorry. Technically, in Japanese, that'd be pronounced Monika. Monika. Well, will I really be happy spending every day? God damn it. Every day after school in a literature club? Perhaps I'll have to have the chance to grow closer to one of these girls. Or maybe just all 4 of them. All right, he says in his head, very loudly, that even the neighbors heard, for some reason. I'll just need to make I'm adding words again. I'll just need to make the most of my circumstances, and I'm sure good fortune will find me. And I guess that starts with writing a poem tonight. I'll make a poem about all the girls and how I undress them with my mind. Wait, I actually have to write a poem?
Kinda, sorta.
Pick words you think your favorite club member will